Welkom terug. Dr. Makhosi Khoza is die ANC-LP wat die nuus gehaal het met haar betrokkenheid by die aanstelling van die nuwe openbare beskermer en die ondersoek na die SAIK. Sommige sien haar selfs as 'n simbool van die nuwe ANC-caucus vir wie aanspreeklikheid daar blyklik die wagwoord word. Dr. Khoza, welcome. Should the robust action of the ad hoc committee, which included so many members of the ANC, among them yourself, give the public hope that there's a new toughness, a new intolerance for ineptitude in Parliament and specifically in the ANC?
Yes, indeed. And I think that there is a realization that as the ruling party, we actually have to be more stricter than any other parties, precisely because we know those people, they are our comrades, and it's the same thing as you. You are not going to be tougher on your neighbor's child. You know, you will be tougher on your own child in the first instance.
But what brought about this new realization? Because the very same Parliament gave a lot of rope to the SABC management over the years.
There's been, well, admittedly, as a party, we've been evolving and there has been weaknesses. There is no doubt about that. And I think the local government elections are one indicators that showed us that we can no longer be complacent. The citizens, you can't take citizens for granted. You've got to take care of them. You must remember the ANC has, the membership of the ANC is about 1 million, but the people who actually voted us into power are about 11 million. So you have 10 million people who are outside the ANC structures that you have to service as well.
Because sometimes in the ranks of the ANC, when you as a loyal member of the party voice criticism about things that go wrong, there can be a lot of resistance. Have you experienced this yourself?
Resistance, this is politics. Resistance is going to be there, as it is always. Whenever you have human beings together, there will be that kind of resistance. And people don't like change. Sometimes they don't like change. Some of the people may be benefiting from your subservient kind of members of the ANC. And obviously, they will not like those that are very robust.
Because when applying a while ago for the position of city manager in eThekwini, Durban, you experienced people invading land that you own at Hillcrest, and threats against your person.
Yes, that did happen, and I survived. And there's nothing that is going to deter me from pursuing what is good for South Africans.
Dr. Khoza, Mr. Motsweneng, who is still playing some role at the SABC, he has many supporters inside the party and inside the ANC Youth League. What is the nature of your relationship with that, if I may use the word, perhaps faction inside the party?
Let me tell you something. I don't belong to any faction within the ANC. And the constitution of the ANC does not make provision for factions. I'm strictly abide by the constitution and the policies of the ANC. And everything that I'm doing is consistent with the policies of the African National Congress.
When you participate in caucus discussions behind closed doors, I mean, are you finding that more and more of your colleagues are becoming courageous enough to say, we need to change the election results, as you said, is a wake-up call. We need to hold even the president accountable?
The SABC and a commission of inquiry, not commission of inquiry, ad hoc committee is a case in point. I mean, almost all of us, in fact, all of us as members of the ANC, we decided that we are not going to be treating anybody with kids' gloves. We are going to be tougher on our own comrades.
And now you've indicated that other state-owned enterprises may also be in the sights of yourself and other concerned members of the ANC in ad hoc committees or other parliamentary committees. Which other organs of state or parastatals do you think deserve the same close scrutiny which you and your committee members subjected the SABC to?
Let me tell you this. That will be the decision that will have to be taken by Parliament. And I'm not sure if I can share that with you right now. But certainly we are, as parliament and as members of the ANC in parliament, we have taken a decision that we have to perform effective oversight, and effective oversight has got to be visible, especially in state-owned entities, where in some instances we found that governance had completely failed.
Were you encouraged by the nature of cooperation between ANC members of this SABC ad hoc committee and those of other parties, including, for example, the DA and EFF?
Yes, of course. I mean, we've cooperated even when we were running the public protector process. And I think there is a genuineness about South Africans wanting to see this country going forward. And that is very encouraging, because I think we need to put our country first.
The same EFF recently made a U-turn about their support for Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane, the new public protector. You were also involved in that process that led to the recommendation to the president that Advocate Mkhwebane is appointed. I mean, do you think it was the right decision?
No, to be honest with you, I honestly think that, I mean, any serious person would not take the EFF very seriously. They tend to be extremely erratic at times, but sometimes they can be very sober. I mean, during that press statement, that press interview, I watched it. They were criticizing everything and everybody, and as a result, you didn't understand exactly what they want, you know. And unfortunately for me, I tend to dislike that disruptive kind of and dismissive approach. I think Busisiwe Mkhwebane was also voted by the number of South Africans, by the way. It wasn't just the members of the political parties.
But as a concerned citizen who took a huge pay cut from corporate South Africa to join politics, will you watch closely how Advocate Mkhwebane performs her duties as public protector?
As said, even during the interviews, I said Busisiwe Mkhwebane will have to find her own moral compass. Even when Thuli Madonsela took that office, she was little known, and she had to find her own moral compass. Before we knew it, South Africans discovered her, and South Africans embraced her. The same thing will have to happen with Busisiwe Mkhwebane. The onus is on her, and we are watching as South Africans.
Dr. Khoza, you've studied at length also indigenous languages in this country, isiZulu, and complicated mathematical theories that I don't fully understand. Do you believe, as somebody who loves language, and indigenous languages in particular, that enough is being done to protect and promote South Africa's indigenous languages?
To be honest with you, I honestly don't think there has been enough. Enough has been done to promote and protect African languages in particular. And I will give you a good example. I mean, up until this day in South Africa, you rarely come across packaging that has language, anyway, any of the 9 Black African languages. And I think it's very sad, because we are defining out 79% of the population. It doesn't make economic sense, because as much as possible, you want your product to be known by everybody else, and I think it's not an economical decision.
But are you seeing mainly apathy among friends and colleagues who also speak Black African languages, or are you seeing an increased awareness about the importance?
I think there is an increasing awareness, but you must also understand the way colonialism worked was such that these languages were treated as backward, and as a result, these languages were stunted. And for example, one of the things, I'm not a linguist, by the way, but one of the things that made me to enter into that linguistic space was the omission of the prefix vowel in isiZulu words, which led to disastrous outcomes. For example, if you say ikhanda and you omit the prefix vowel, it says khanda, which means to fix. And that's how the dictionaries are written. Khanda is like, head, when it's supposed to be fixed.
It's a short language lesson and all we have time for tonight. Thank you very much for
thank you very much
in.
for hosting me.
Dit was Dr. Makhosi Khoza van die ANC.